In this video, I'm going to share with you the tactic or the strategy that's helped me to accomplish my exercise or personal development goals over the years. This has made a huge difference in my life. And whenever things get a little out of control, whenever I get knocked off my routine, I come back to this and it always works for me. With it being early January in 2024, a lot of us probably have goals for the year, whether or not you want to call them resolutions. There's certain things that you want to succeed at from a personal development standpoint, be that exercise, diet, maybe it's mental health related, whatever the case is, there's self-care that you want to establish in 2024, right? One of the biggest things that stands in our way is not that we don't want a certain thing, it's that we don't always, quote unquote, have time to accomplish the thing that we want to accomplish. And that's not always necessarily our fault, especially if we're parents or we're married. And the reason for that is when you have kids and when you have a spouse, the world is not all about you. In fact, it's about them before you, right? So you end up sacrificing willingly, repeatedly, a lot of times to the detriment of your personal development goals. The bad thing about that is the more that you can actually invest in self-care, and the healthier you are mentally, spiritually, physically, the better you can serve your spouse and your kids, right? Kind of self-defeating when we are always too busy, in fact, to really take care of ourselves. So the tactic that I like to use, especially if you're a parent, it's not revolutionary. You're probably going to roll your eyes, but check it out. Go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Wake up an hour before your kids or your spouse. Some people are quote unquote night owls, right? Used to going to bed at 11:30, 12 o'clock, or maybe later, and then waking up later. The problem if you have kids is kids generally go to bed early and wake up fairly early. So if your kids are getting up at 6 or 6:30 in the morning and the same time you're getting up, it's pretty hard to wake up and say, okay, let me get my workout in while my 6-year-old takes care of himself, right? This is not conducive to you accomplishing your goals. And when you come home from work, so if you're gone for 8 or 9 hours or whatever, and you get home, walking in the door and then going to work out, your kids are going to be all over you, right? They want your attention. And so you're kind of having to push them to the side to invest in self-care. Now, because your kids likely go to sleep early if you have them, my son goes to bed around 10. When my routine's the way I want it, what happens is I put him to bed and then I go to sleep. Within 30 minutes, I'm out. And then I'm waking up around 5:30 in the morning. That gives me about an hour to do what I need to do in the morning when the world is basically asleep. No one's emailing me. I don't have anybody demanding anything from me yet. My wife is generally still asleep or she's up. She's got a career. She's doing her own thing. I can wake up. I can get on the bike. I can sauna. I can lift. I can do whatever I want for about an hour. And then when the demands of the day from the spouse, from the kids, from your professional commitments, whatever, when those things start coming at you, you've already got your self-care taken care of. You've already done the thing that you said you want to do for 2024. In my experience personally, and with a lot of clients who struggle with consistency, getting it done before the demands of the day hit is transformational. Whatever your personal development goal is, it doesn't have to be exercise. It could be diet. You could be wanting to do better at food. If that's the case, you can wake up, you can actually get your meals ready for the day, have your day set up by 6 a.m., and then you go about your day and you're prepared, because a lack of preparation is the biggest reason that you will fail at your resolutions or at your goals. It's the same thing for me. And I'll give you an example. Starting Christmas Eve, we've been up till midnight or 12:30 every night. It was Christmas Eve. And then we had family the next day for Christmas and another family commitment the day after that. So we're up till midnight, 11:45, 12:30 one night. Then we took the kids to Knott's Berry Farm, which is an amusement park. By the time we got home, it was midnight. My daughter's kitten had gotten out. We're looking all over the neighborhood for her till 1:30 in the morning. So repeatedly, night after night, for the entirety of that Christmas vacation. Then you have New Year's Eve, so then we're up till midnight. So it was the world was just trying to keep me up till midnight. And I'm old, I'm crabby, I want everybody to get off my lawn. I want to go to bed at 10:30, right? But regardless of what I wanted, that's just the way things shook out. And so it really did disrupt my routine, because I'm not going to go to bed at 12:30 and wake up at 5:30 to go work out. So the entire Christmas through New Year's Eve, I only strength trained once in 10 days. Didn't eat as well. It wasn't crazy, but I didn't eat as well as normal. Everything was just off. I wasn't as energetic as normal. So from a performance standpoint, the routine was just all over the place. And when you don't have a set routine, it's very difficult to consistently accomplish anything. After New Year's, I made it a point, okay, I've got to get back to my routine, which is what I'm doing now, which is what inspired me to make this video. So again, while I realize that, hey, go to bed early and wake up early is not revolutionary, I just want to stress that for myself, at multiple times in my life, including when we had our first kid and our second kid, waking up very early before the family and before the world has demands for me is literally the only way I'm able to be consistent. It's still that way now because I've got two kids, homeschooled. So there's all this stuff going on during the day where I can't always just go do my thing, right? It's just not realistic when you've got kids, when you've got a spouse, to just always be able to go do your thing. When you come home after work and your kids rush you at the door, and then you got to make dinner and all this other stuff going on. And honestly, by 9 o'clock at night, after you put your kids to bed, you're going to go work out. Then your training intensity is probably going to be crappy because you've been up since like 6 a.m. and it's the end of your day when you want to relax. Now you're going to go lift or you're going to go run. It's okay to do it then. It's better to get it in than not. But doing it early, I find, is a better option because once you get used to it, there is an adjustment period if you're not a morning person. When you wake up, drink some coffee, warm up, whatever it is, you start your workout. It's going to feel terrible for about a month. When I first went from afternoon workouts when I didn't have kids and switched to morning workouts as a new father, I felt weak. It took like a month before I started feeling energetic and actually like I was back to where I was with afternoon workouts. So that's one thing I will warn you about, is that your training intensity early in the day, if you're used to working out late in the day, is not going to be good for a while. But once the habit's formed and once you're used to it, you actually will notice that you'll be right back to where you were before. You'll start making progress again. It's just a matter of building the habit. We're creatures of habit. We are actually not creatures of infinite willpower or anything like that. So the willpower you do have, you want to use it toward building the habit of consistency with whatever your goal is. And like I mentioned, doing that by waking up early, going to bed early, even if it's not what you want to do, even if you don't enjoy mornings, even if you're not a morning person, do it long enough to build the habit. Once the habit's built, then you can reorganize your schedule, or you can do it a different way. But this advice is probably not applicable to everyone, but like I said, it's worked for me and it's worked for many clients who struggle with consistency. So that's the tactic that I've got for you to help you accomplish your New Year's goals in 2024. Now, if strength training and building muscle are part of your goals for 2024, I have a series of videos to teach you how to work every muscle group in the body using calisthenics, and you can check that out by clicking here.